6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're going live.
We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, everybody? We are live, and I am going to try to do this every Wednesday and Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you can't make it, that's what the replays are for. Before we get too far into this, let's start off with some housekeeping. Be sure to, let's see here, like, subscribe, hit those notifications, and be sure to drop a comment either in the chat section or in the actual comment section on the replay. All that helps us out in the algorithms. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. I'm trying to get more people to follow me on Instagram. So head on over to Instagram and give me a follow there. I am streaming this live right now on TikTok. You can't see it's right here. And most people have no idea what the hell I'm talking about on TikTok. Guys, if you're on TikTok, head on over to YouTube. But TikTok has me in a crushing shadow ban right now. So I'm hoping that streaming live on TikTok helps break me out of that. All right. If you like this content, please consider joining the Patreon for as little as $10. It helps out more than you know. And on Monday's episodes at the end of the show on YouTube, you get added to the beer club credits. Be sure to get on the email list at list.comeonmanpod.com. And if you do, I'll send you these cool stickers. One of them says Red Pill, which if you guys don't know, backstage, I have a guest and he gets a kick out of my Red Pill t-shirts. So, and also be sure to check out my new Practical Law of Attraction course, where I remove all of the chick crack and magical thinking and teach you how to reprogram your subconscious mind so that you can achieve goals so big it will blow your mind. In fact, let me take that off and show you guys this commercial real quick, and then we'll get the show started. What if I told you you can have anything you want? More money, a bigger house, hotter women. Would you believe me? If your answer is no, you need to ask yourself why you think that way. What's holding you back? I can tell you right now, it's a self-limiting belief that's holding you back. Your paradigm or the way you see the world is holding you back. What if I told you that I can teach you how to change your paradigm? I just finished my course on the Practical Law of Attraction. You may have heard of the Law of Attraction, but have dismissed it as magical thinking or woo-woo nonsense. Well, it's not. The Law of Attraction is real, but it's not magic. At the end of the day, it comes down to your mindset. And my course will teach you how to reprogram your mindset so that you can achieve anything that you want in this world. And the first 50 people that use the coupon code in the description will get 15% off. If you want more out of this life, if you want to achieve bigger goals, if you want to achieve goals so big that they will blow your mind, then this is your sign. Sign up for my course at loa.comeonmanpod.com. That's loa.comeonmanpod.com. The law of attraction is nothing without action. So what are you waiting for? Act now. All right. Now, before we get too far into this, let me bring my guest in. Jack Napier, the Manosphere's favorite Dutchie.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Jack?
I can't complain. First of all, Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too, man. What did you do?
Excuse you?
Did you do anything fun?
Oh, did I do anything fun? I was like, oh, gun? What? I'm European.
We're not allowed to have guns here.
No, we're not allowed to have anything. Did I do something fun? I went to a close friend of mine. We watched a couple of series, watched a couple of films, stayed up to around 12, walked a bit through town, watched the fireworks, and then we just ended it. And the day afterwards, first day of the year, funnily enough, we're talking about New Year's resolutions. So I have a tradition with a friend of mine that on the first day of the new year, we go to McDonald's, KFC, and Burger King. We won't do all three in one day, so we won't do it the rest of the year.
Okay. So do you guys have is it actually Burger King there in
Yes.
the Netherlands?
Yes.
Okay. I think so. This was years ago, but when I went to Australia the first time, it wasn't Burger King. It was called Hungry Jack's.
Yeah,
So-
something I heard about that.
But the second time I went, they had both. They had both Burger King and Hungry Jack's, and I had the impression that they were in the process of rebranding it all to Burger King. So I don't know. I don't know if it like things are different in other countries, and a lot of people in the United States don't realize that.
Really? There are
It's so
countries
weird.
outside of the United States?
I know. It's hard to believe.
Wow. Wow, they're not even the same continent.
It's so weird. Hey guys, if you're watching on TikTok, head on over to the YouTube stream. Seriously, you guys, it'll make more sense because otherwise it just looks like I'm talking to myself. So
I promise you, I'm not insane. I'm talking to somebody.
Jack, how did the thumbnail I picked for this was sort of a tongue-in-cheek joke because the day before on Twitter, I posted a thing about how if your goal for New Year's was to lose weight, don't post pictures of yourself standing barefoot on a scale. Like no one wants to see your nasty feet. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a thumbnail of a barefoot guy standing on a scale because that's just gross. Like, but
apparently some people are into that. I'm not one of them, but so I've heard.
But seriously, if your goal is to lose weight, we don't need to see your feet in like with a picture of the scale. Just post the number. Like I'll take your word for it. You know. I get it. Like your number's going down. That's perfect. Good for you. Just or at least get a pedicure or something. I don't know, man.
I mean, for some people, posting scale things like that, it's a sort of apologies. It's a form of accountability for themselves because not only are they themselves keeping track of it, they're also getting their followers or their friends, depending on which platform you use, involved, who will, and they will, go ask questions if you stop posting it, where it's like, like, weren't you busy losing weight or things like that? And then is a form of indirect accountability, which I think is the biggest reason people do it.
Oh, sure.
With or without feed. I mean, that's
it's
not my expertise.
It also feels good. I'm sure you get that validation when you post your progress and then you have like all the people in the comments saying like, well done, man, like good job, or, you know, whatever. And like it or not, like men are looking for validation as well.
Yeah, I had a bit of a skerfuffle about that on Twitter as well. Like, look, it's not wrong. You're not wrong. However, if somebody is just starting out with that and they kind of want the support, I'm not going to be a dick about it. Or at least I'm not going to point them towards the female behavior they are portraying, where it's like, you know what? We'll start that after he's lost 50 pounds. Then I'm just going to give him Ryan Stone's book, where it's like, okay, you got to the be attractive part. Now don't be unattractive. That part comes down.
There you go. And honestly, seeking validation is the don't be unattractive part, right? That's
exactly
attractive quality where a man's acting like a girl seeking validation, right? So Jack, I did a quick Google search before this show, and I looked up the top 5 most popular New Year's resolutions. The first one is exercise more. Can you believe that?
Wow.
The second one,
I'm not surprised.
The second one, so it's when I messaged you last night, I said it was the top 3 were all based on the same thing. So the second one was eat healthier. The third one was lose weight. Number 4 was save more money. And 5 was spend more time with family and friends. So for all of these, what are we really talking about here? We're talking about goal setting, right? Would you agree?
Yes. And just a whole complete lifestyle change. In all honesty. Do you know the top 5 regrets people have when they die?
They should have worked more. They should have. No, what are they?
The other way around. And funny you should mention that. That number 5 is spend more time with family,
Mhm.
even though it is the number one regret people have on their deathbed that they didn't spend enough time with family.
Okay, that makes sense. Are you sure it's not work more? Because I mean,
It's even work less. Just work less.
so some of these, I don't like them on their own as goals though, because they're not specific enough, and vague goals will get vague results, right? So exercise more. What does that mean?
Yeah, how many more than what? Like more than you're doing now? Okay, good. How much are you working out now? And why should you work out more?
Right.
Because, and you and I have talked about this before, it is the number one question I ask all my clients. How many times can you assure me you can go to the gym? Now, let's say somebody only has the time to go 2 times per week, and yet New Year's comes and they're like, I want to work out more. Well, apologies. Can you make that happen or not? Just be honest about that. And if you can't, then make the best out of those 2 times, which then changes the whole New Year's resolution in I want to work out more effectively.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. Also, I would say too, make sure that whatever you pick is sustainable. I had a Patreon client of mine, and one of her things was that she wanted to. I have a female client, Jack. She wanted to lose some weight, and she was she with her job, she had a lot of like downtime, so she was going to like the hotel gym. She traveled a lot, so she'd go to the hotel gym like 3 times a day and work out for like an hour each time. And I was like, that's not sustainable long term. You know, like you need to pick something that you can do for the next 20 years, you know, something that is not such a chore to do that like you'll just get burnt out from it.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. Like, what can you do? Not per se, what do you want to do? What can you do? You go from there, because the more sustainable it is, the longer you will do it, and the longer you will do it, the better your results.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Also, I would say, based on what can you do, you sort of need to figure out what kind of exercises you're doing. Right? You need. Are you doing weight training? Are you doing cardio? Are you doing a mixture of both? Like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to achieve? Do you want more definition? Do you just want to not be fat? Like, what do you want?
That comes back to the first point we made, where what do you want to work out for? Like overall health? Do you want to be more toned? Do you want to be stronger? Overall more fit? Do you want to stop being out of breath when you walk up the stairs? Do you want to be able to play with your grandkids? Things like that. That all needs to be taken into equation. Or just lose weight. Well, the beauty about losing weight is you have to do strength training kind of by default, because the larger your muscle mass is, the larger or higher your caloric expenditure in rest will be. Therefore, automatically you are raising the amount of calories you need, but not necessarily take in. So you don't have to starve yourself to lose the weight.
Yeah. One thing, you know me, I like to do cardio.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you like to run away from your problems and things like that.
There it is. No, but I like to do running, but I also make sure that I do some kind of weight training and or calisthenics or whatever, because I don't want to just be skinny fat, and that I find that people that don't do any kind of weight training to get some kind of tone and definition, they just end up looking like they're skinny fat.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. There's no form, there's no shape, there's no build. Like,
yeah,
when was that? Even yesterday, somebody asked me, like, how do you prevent being skinny fat? And 6 months ago, I did a video on that. Like, how do you prevent being skinny fat? Well, that's just very simple. You train, you do strength training, you tear down your muscle so you can build it back up at home. That's how you prevent the whole skinny fat look with the like droopy breasts, or however you want to call them.
Moobs. I like to call them moobs, man
Mm.
boobs. Hey, if you guys are watching on TikTok right now, head on over to YouTube. It'll make more sense. I'm actually talking to somebody here. So just need to throw that out there. So then going back to what can you do and what can you do for the long term, what I like to look at that as, you need to make that a habit, right? Because we will do we will do our habits without even thinking about it. And if you can make working out like something that you just do, like you said, a lifestyle change. I don't like I don't like the term lifestyle change because it gets thrown around this time of year.
Says the coach.
Right? I don't like it, man. I don't like the term. It's so cliche. People are like, "Oh, I'm not on a diet. I'm on a lifestyle change." It's like you can say that. I will say that you're allowed to say that when you've actually made it a lifestyle change. Otherwise, you haven't gotten there yet, pal. You know.
I know what you mean. It sounds cringy as hell, but it is true. It is
Mhm.
true because
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of people,
yeah.
a lot of people live the lifestyle, a very sedentary lifestyle, as in they sit down a lot, they travel to go home, they sit even more,
Mhm.
they have no clue what healthy eating really is, and they just eat what they think is, well, healthy, weirdly enough,
Mhm.
and they just go about their day.
Yeah.
And when that is your normal life, going to the gym, as oftentimes your schedule allows it, is indeed something that is a change in said lifestyle. Same with diet and things like that. Though I will give you this, the whole fit lifestyle people who wear like the gym shark and their whole existence is the gym, even though a decent workout only takes an hour. Like, what do you do for the other 23 hours? That's where I'm also kind of like, oh, please don't. Like, no. Like,
What do you think
gym
about?
life? Like,
Yeah.
what do you do there? What? Come on.
What about the guys that in January spend hundreds of dollars on new gym outfits so that they can look cool at the gym, but then they quit mid-February?
Look, you cannot have $200 shoes with a 25-cent squat.
Oh,
Louis Simmons
okay. I
of
like
the
that.
world's strongest gym. No kidding, by the way. But he always used to say that, where it's like, yeah, you can't have $200 shoes with a 25-cent squat.
Mhm.
Just buy the budget version of what's it called? Chuck Taylor All Stars, like the Converse All Stars.
Yeah.
They're budget versions of that. Just buy those nice flat shoes. Cut sweatpants into shorts, which are acceptable for a man, not short shorts, just normal shorts.
Like the short board shorts or whatever they're
Yeah, like the Lemmy shorts. You know the Lemmy shorts?
No.
You know Motorhead, right?
I know. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so there's a documentary about Lemmy, about
Okay.
Lemmy Kilmister, the frontman from Motorhead, and I believe it was the guitar player from Anthrax, Ian something. He used to live next door to Lemmy, and Lemmy always wore hot pants, like jeans, like denim hot pants. It's like, what the hell, man? There are still photos of Lemmy wearing that.
Mhm.
And they walk up to Lemmy, and it's like, dude, what's with the hot pants? He's like, hot pants? What? Shorts? No, Lemmy, these are shorts. That is just like, oh, no. What you're wearing is just trousers. These are shorts. And then,
Wait, so
right
were
where
they
the leg meets the hip.
were they like Daisy Dukes, like cutoffs?
Yeah.
Or were they? Oh, they were. Okay, with like jean cutoffs.
Yep.
Okay, because I could also see like the the Navy SEAL shorts that are super short too, but those aren't cutoffs. Like that's
he was really wearing Daisy Dukes. It's like,
oh, that's terrible, man. Terrible.
you gotta be the front man for Motorhead to get away with that, man.
Let's go to the next common resolution, which is to eat healthier, right? Which sort of goes hand in hand with exercise. So I put on here on my notes, what is healthier,
Well,
right?
exactly.
Is it a lot of people think it's I'm going to eat more vegetables, you know, I'm going to lean more towards vegetarianism, but if you go full on vegetarian, I mean the carnivore guys are like that's not healthy for you. So then you go, okay, well I'm going to go full spectrum over here. I'm going to go full carnivore. And then vegans are like that's not healthy for you. It's like one thing that I've noticed when I've done my research on you know, food and diets, and you're an actual trainer, like you know more about this than me, but one thing that I've realized is that all diets tend to work if you are consistent with it, and then also all diets have their own, you know, supportive studies that say, oh, this is why our diet is the best diet.
Mm-hmm. Well, quick question: what's the best diet?
Whatever works.
The one that you can follow.
There you go. The one that you can make a habit.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. It's about consistency. Look,
Yeah.
and I have gone on record saying that I'm not a big fan of the vegan diet for a multitude of reasons, namely the amount of supplementing you need to do.
Mhm.
Just not a fan of it. You can tell me that the diet which requires the most supplementing is supposed to be the most healthiest diet, where it's like, okay, supplements have only been existing for what? How long should supplements have existed? No idea, in all honesty. But they're a thing of like these times. They're not of ancient times and things like that.
No, ancient people ate bull testicles and liver. I mean, Liver King told us that.
Oh, that is true, by the way. That is true. You can clearly see we do not do that. We have not reached prime physical attributes.
we're not primals anymore.
No, I just do Ben and Jerry's, man, to fuel my 8-hour workouts.
Did I tell you about my experience with carnivore when I was getting ready for Tough Mudder last year?
You did. You lost a good amount of weight with that, didn't you?
Well, I did lose weight with it, but I also I buy those home testosterone kits where you do like a saliva, you spit into a tube and you mail it off, and they measure your free testosterone. I had a massive plummet in my testosterone with it because and I'm sure the purists out there are going to be like, well, you just didn't do it right, but no, it turns out like I had a major mineral deficiency. So when I had to start supplementing zinc and magnesium. And when I did that, it brought my levels back up, but I'd never had experienced that before going on that diet. So
what kind of meat were you eating?
I was primarily eating like steak and eggs, you know?
Really?
Yeah. Huh. But I mentioned that on a Rule Zero, and John Fitch asked me like if I was eating any organs during that, you know, like Liver King, right? Like liver and stuff, because liver has a lot of those types of minerals in it. And I think liver is absolutely disgusting. So no.
Like that's the most unfortunate thing. Like liver is one of the most nutrient dense meats there is, same as like beef steak.
Yeah,
they are. That's why I was surprised. But liver is just so goddamn gross.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't.
All the things in the world. Like, remember what your parents used to tell you, like, eat your Brussels sprouts. They're good for you. For liver, that actually holds up. Where it's like, oh my God, you really need somebody to force that on you. It's like, oh my God. I found beef heart at my local grocery store. So I'm just eating that. But
that's I've never had beef heart, but I've had elk heart. Because when I was a kid, we used to go hunting all the time. And so I've had elk heart, but that shit is tough as old shoe leather, man. Like that's not something that's a treat.
The beef heart's pretty good. And now that you bring up deficiencies, I get that question all the time as well. Like, what should I supplement? To which I respond, what's your blood work? Because that is the only way I could give an actual answer to that. Like, that's where you see the deficiencies, etc., which your doctor will probably tell you as well. Now, about my own blood work, in all honesty, I've never done it. I wanted to do it in socialist Netherlands,
Mhm.
where you're forced to pay for it, and I just wanted to do a blood test, and they're like, "But what for?" I'm like, "Well, I just want to know my measurements. I want to know my deficiencies." Yeah, but are you feeling all right? Are you feeling unwell? I'm like, "No, this is just for personal research." Well, you can't just have a blood test. And at a certain point, I just snapped at the lady, like, "You mean to tell me I pay you every month for healthcare, yet when I want it, I can't get it?"
Right?
And all of a sudden, she changed her tone. She's like, "Oh, well, no, you can, but we just need a proper reason." Well, how about I want it? I pay for it.
You know,
It's like,
you're not the first person that I've heard that has gotten scuff from their doctor's office about asking for blood work.
yes.
A lot of times too, if you ask that, ask if you can get your blood work done because you want to, like, say, test your testosterone levels or whatever, like, they're like, well, why would you want to do that? Like, testosterone's bad, don't you? It's like, no, testosterone's not bad.
Yeah, and
It's
the reason why I didn't went through with it, I never had like issues or things like that, like tired all the time. No, not really.
Mhm.
Libido's fine, annoying even every now and then, in all honesty. But so I'm like, well, I'm feeling fine.
Mhm.
Maybe when something turns up where I'm kind of like, okay, maybe now I would want to know what's wrong,
Yeah.
I would pursue the blood test. But overall, I'm doing just fine, and I follow a lot of Sean Baker as well.
Oh yeah, Sean Baker. Sean Baker he's a carnivore guy. He's like the
Yeah,
inventor of carnivore, pretty much, right? I mean, no, I mean, not the inventor, but he's like one
yeah,
of the biggest guys who's in the space that have written books on it. And
yeah. He's one of the bigger advocates. I don't know what he says about zinc.
Mm.
Don't know what he says about zinc. But then how many deficiencies did you have?
It was really just those, like zinc and magnesium.
Those are the
So,
only two. Oh,
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, but it was enough.
I do have those supplements as well.
There you go. Yeah,
But when you look at the vegan diet and how much they like need to supplement, it's bloody insane.
that's crazy.
Iron, zinc, magnesium, vitamin B, if I'm correct.
Mhm.
Then they need to get the protein in, etc. And I'm kind of like, dude, if it's that much, there's something just not right. Okay. Oh, did you drink milk as well?
No, because milk has too much lactose in it, which is essentially a sugar. So it's too many carbs. That's why I didn't do that. But
Okay.
I don't think milk is recommended on carnivore either because of that.
That depends. Raw
Yeah.
milk, shit like that.
Mhm. I probably just didn't do it right.
Well, you did it right, but there are methods. Look, the whole like, what is carnivore? Some people say honey is all natural, which you're not
It comes
wrong.
from bees, right? Yeah.
Comes from bees, but like, would you say it's carnivore? Well, it isn't meat, so I would say no,
Mhm.
etc. But then you've got the hardcore carnivores, or you got the all natural diet kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I would say, well, why not have raw milk?
Right.
Like dairy was allowed, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm not a dogmatic kind of guy. So
one thing, so I've been doing keto for a couple of years now, though. So that's why, like, when I switched to carnivore, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a drastic difference because I was basically just cutting out the vegetables and the avocado. It's not like I had been eating bread or potatoes or rice or anything up until that point anyway. But yeah, going back on keto, I haven't had any problems,
good. Keto is like scientifically, and don't put me down on this, but last time I checked, that keto was scientifically like the most sustainable and beneficiary of fad diets, sort of say.
Fad diets, yeah. Well, I mean, one thing I like about it, and the people watching, it's not for everybody, right? Like we've been talking about this, and you need to find something that works for you, that you can stick with, that you can make a habit, and it's all about consistency. But what I like about keto over just like say counting calories, for instance, is that I eat these foods, they're full of fats, and so they keep me satiated longer. So it's not like I have to try to supplement my snacking with, celery throughout the day or pickles or, drinking lots of fluid and stuff like that. It's like I eat my breakfast and I'm good like all day, or I can even just go all day and just eat, dinner usually and do
Mhm.
sort of an OMAD thing with keto, just because the fats keep you going longer. It's like I saw one documentary, they likened it to sugar and carbs being like kindling on a fire, right? It burns fast and quickly, but then you have more crashes and stuff like that. And if you eat fats, it's like throwing a big fat log on a fire. It slow burns, but it'll burn like all day, you know. So,
Pretty much. Pretty
but
much.
but going to that, since we're talking about diet, then the third goal was to lose weight, right? So the first two will help you with the third. That's why I said all
Pretty
three are
much.
sort of up your alley. So one thing I will say is when you want to lose weight, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you're the professional here, Jack, but when you
Mhm.
want to lose weight, you sort of want to figure out what your what's it called, your basal metabolic rate, what your base calorie burning is, and then you want to set what your goal is, and then figure out what kind of calorie deficit typically you want to get into in order to achieve that goal,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, there are multiple ways to go when it comes to losing weight. And as I mentioned previously, the sedentary lifestyle, like how are you going through the day?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Oh,
you
hold
mostly
on 1 second, Jack. Guys, if you're watching on TikTok, yes, you can't hear my guest. Head on over to YouTube. You'll be able to hear him and see him. Okay, sorry, go about that.
He's a good looking guy, your guest.
He's a handsome son of a bitch. You'll love him. You'll love him. Head on over to YouTube. Okay.
So the sedentary lifestyle, and because a lot of people see counting calories as this huge hurdle they need to
Mhm.
cross, because then it becomes a chore. It's like, oh, I have to count calories and things like that. So what can we do before they need to count the calories?
Mhm.
Well, we look at their habits during the day first. Well, like we just previously mentioned, sitting all the time, every time, at home, to work, at work, from work, back at home. So, what in there can we already start changing? Well, what do you do during your coffee and lunch breaks? Well, sit down in the cafeteria. Okay, well, how does just taking a 10-minute walk in those coffee breaks sound? Oh, 10 minutes isn't that much. 10
Mhm.
minutes, 2 times a day. Well, start implementing that. That's already a small win. Already a small win. Then you start asking, like, what do you do mostly at home? Things like that. Well, watch television, etc., etc. Well, what's preventing you from, let's say, in the evening, go for a small little walk for about 30 minutes, things like that. And then you've already put in more activity during the day without even touching the calories. Well, small changes, not too big of an effort. Let's start from there. Then, of course, you start asking their drink intake. This is a big one as well. This is where a lot of people like get the and how do I phrase that? This is kind of where the language barrier comes in, but the
Jack, you need to work on your
yeah,
English, bro.
no, I know, but it's like I'd call them like silent calories kind of thing, where you don't really realize how much calories there are in like coffee with cream or coffee
Mm.
with sugar, and how many coffees with sugar do you drink a day. That could be an extra 200 to 300 calories a day.
Yeah,
Exaggerating a bit, but let's say you
calories
have
in
a
drinks are like the worst.
exactly
Yeah.
like these silent calories. You don't really like, you're not satiated by them. You don't really like experience taking them in. Maybe the sugar, the rush a bit from a Coke. However, when you start doing that, and I've said this before, I'd rather my clients just, if they really want a soda, just go for the diet version.
Mhm.
Because there's sweetness in there, there's no calories in there, yet you can still like get the taste of it.
When I
But-
when I first decided to make weight loss a thing, make it a habit, back in 2016, that was one of the first things I did was I cut out all the sugars. I know we don't have a sugar addiction.
Yeah, I saw your comment on that, and
Yeah.
like you put in the words what I like vaguely
Well, it's funny because
reference to.
you were getting to that, and I was like, I see. So I commented that, and then like 2 seconds later, you basically said the same thing. I was like, ah, damn it.
Yeah,
We're,
and it was
we're on the same page.
somebody in the comments said like, well, you know, people are addicted to nicotine and they still smoke cigarettes, so I think that's a bad argument for you saying that people don't buy packs of sugar. It's like,
I think people they look too far into stuff like that. You know,
yeah, it's like
you're missing the
it's-
point here.
Yeah, it's like a reference, you know, it's like making sense of it that it's not actually the sugar, but it's the combination of certain macronutrients in it.
Yeah.
But plus, a lot of people who are addicted to nicotine do take like chewing tobacco, things like that. So
My dad quit smoking when I was a kid by chewing tobacco. That's
Oh,
how
nice.
he quit smoking. But then it took him a long time to quit chewing tobacco. He ended up, I think he ended up doing that by chewing sunflower seeds.
mm,
But yeah,
I just stopped buying. I just stopped buying when I used to smoke. At a certain point, I was just so done with it. It cost way too much money, and you always feel like, can I curse?
oh yeah, we're past the 30-minute mark.
Oh, okay. Well, you always feel like shit after
Yeah.
after a cigarette. And it's like, oh my God, why am I even doing this? So at a certain point, I just leave my wallet at home.
When it comes to quitting smoking, which is funny, that's not on the top 5, but that usually is. It's not. No, it's usually in the top 10 though. Most people try to quit smoking. So I quit smoking. I quit smoking in 2004 for the first time. Hey guys, if you're watching on
For the
TikTok-
first time, I knew it because you always
Uh,
relapse.
No, I'm sorry. I quit for the last time in 2004. Guys, if you're
Oh.
on TikTok, head on over to YouTube. This will make more sense. You guys are sort of behind the scenes right now.
Goddamn TikTokers.
Goddamn
Giant
TikTok.
sign.
But
Giant
yeah,
sign.
so I started smoking when I was like 16, I think. And I ended up quitting finally in 2004. I had tried quitting a bunch of times before that. I quit one time with Wellbutrin, and that lasted for about a year, and then I started up again. I tried quitting cold turkey once, and I just wanted to straight murder people. That I couldn't do. People that do that I have mad respect for them, because like cigarettes is so addicting that
Took me 3 days. 3 days of cold turkey. And after
That's
that, the urge was just away.
yeah, not for me, man.
Gone.
Like so what ended up finally doing it was the patch. And what I would do is I would buy the full strength patch, right? Put that on for, I don't know, was it 2 weeks that they have you do that? And then when you're supposed to go down to the next dosage, they want you to buy the next pack. And so instead of doing that, I was buy the full strength and just cut it in half, because it ends up being cheaper when you do this. You just cut it in half and then put half the patch on. And then when you're ready to dose down, you cut that in half until you're weaned off of it. That's what finally did it. But I'll tell you what, you are not going to quit smoking for someone else. You have to want it. If you don't want to quit smoking, you won't quit. The same with any of these things. If you don't want to actually lose weight, you're not going to lose the weight. Like you have to really want this stuff and be like, this is what I'm going to do, and put your focus and intention into it.
Yeah, and unfortunately for a lot of people, it's too late. Or sorry, they get to the conclusion that something needs to change after something already happened. It's like people who lose the weight, they already had a heart attack, things like that. Or it's like, oh, come on, you could have prevented this.
It's like, well, it's like marriage, isn't it? Like sometimes people have to learn the hard way.
Oof. Yeah, the more I see about that, I don't even know if I told you last time. I think I did. Was that you who asked that? If I was against marriage?
I don't think that was me. I don't think I'd ask people, are you against it? Because I don't really care. I mean, if you're like, you're really into, like, you think that marriage is something that you need in your life, all I would say to that is, learn what you need to do to protect yourself, and good
Yeah,
luck.
because like I do truly believe men and women are better together than they are apart. But I am just not convinced the law needs to be part of that. But apparently, I saw Ryan posting this, and he got it from Rolo. Like the American Black community is now just living together more instead of getting married. Like all the statisticians are losing their mind, where it's like, oh, people are getting married less, and he's like, yeah, good thing, because they are
Yeah,
cohabitating.
yeah. Getting the state involved is just,
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense. Going back to losing weight, we were talking a little bit about counting calories. Now,
oh yeah, all
when
the steps before.
when you've seen my before and after pictures, like in 2016, when I decided to lose weight, it was a New Year's resolution. I was just like, I was sick of being a fat bastard, looking in the mirror, just being disgusted with how I looked without a shirt on and stuff. And so I decided to lose weight, and I knew how to count calories. And before these apps that I'm about to mention came along, the way I had lost weight in the past was I would take a business card and just say, I didn't measure like my what basal metabolic rate. That's what it's called, right? Basal metabolic rate.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't measure that at all. I just knew that like all of your packaging, recommends a 2,000 calorie diet. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to be under 2,000 calories. And so I take a business card and I would start off with 2,000, and then I would subtract everything that I ate and drank throughout the day. And as long as I didn't consume 2,000, I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. And I ended up losing weight that way. But in 2016, MyFitnessPal and MapMyFitness were available on your smartphone, and that was a game changer for me, man. Because like MyFitnessPal, it will ask you like what your current weight is, how old you are, like what your physical activity level is, and it will basically spit out a number. Like, okay, this is what we estimate to be your basal metabolic rate. You need to eat like, and then they'll ask you how many pounds do you want to lose per week, and it's like 1 or 2 pounds is usually what they don't recommend going more than that. And so you put that in, they're like, okay, boom, here's your number. And it's like, as long as you just keep track of everything. The only problem with that app is you tend to want to just eat things that have barcodes. So you're eating a lot of packaged stuff, but it still works. So you scan stuff throughout the day.
Though, apparently, at least I heard there's a difference between the European and the American version. I don't know if that's true. But you can also like do things manually. They have this search bar and you just type in steak.
You can do that. Yeah.
You can do that too. And it gives you like the averages of per 100 grams. That is a method of doing it too.
What I found with that app is if you are making something on your own and you search for an ingredient, people put in random numbers in. And so you got to look through and figure out which one's the accurate one. But you can like make your own recipes in there and figure out how many servings it is, and then sort of get a rough estimate. But that kind of stuff I found to be super tedious. And so what I ended up doing a lot of the times to do it, like at least get ballpark, because none of this is exact anyway. Ballpark is, let's say I was making a meal. I didn't want to sit there and figure out everything. I would look up a popular restaurant and try to find like a similar meal and just put that in for the day. Or if I went to like a mom and pop restaurant where their information is not added to the menu, I would just find like a similar chain restaurant's meal and put it in and say that, that was good enough for the day. And that usually was fine. And then MapMyFitness, when I was really heavy, right? That was fun for me because that tracks like how many calories you're burning at the gym or running or whatever. And so that would add on to the amount of calories I was allowed to consume on MyFitnessPal. So it was almost like a reward. But once I got below like 200, so maybe like 195-ish, it didn't work anymore. I would work out more in the gym and then try to eat more. And I would plateau. So I found that I just needed to not eat those additional calories that I burned at the gym, and then everything seemed to go fine from there.
Mm-hmm. No, because your basic metabolic rate adapts at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point, it adapts to the movements you've been making, etc. That is, or at least apologies, it doesn't have to be complicated. I have trouble explaining the exact process of that. I'll be very honest about that, because at a certain point, if you want to lose more weight because of the muscle mass, etc., you do have to go lower in calories at a certain point to keep up with that basic metabolic rate changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the basic version of it. Plus, and this is what I do with clients, and they ask me that as well, like, can you still consume the calories it tells you burned? And I always tell them no, because like, how does that app specifically know how much calories you burn anyway with certain exercises?
Mm-hmm.
And you're bound to go over your caloric need for that day. Now, what I tend to do as well when using MyFitnessPal is not go overboard with the caloric reduction.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you and I mentioned before, it is a long-term thing. Now, unfortunately, what a lot of people tend to do when they start losing weight is reduce their caloric intake by about 500, sometimes even more, like 1,000 or something, eat half of what they were supposed to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they'll lose weight because they're kind of starving themselves. However, you will not be able to maintain that in the long term because you will get hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tend to do with MyFitnessPal is I just tell my clients to put the energy the activity level you have or you think you have, put it one lower than that. And don't put your workouts in, don't put your steps in, whatever. Count your steps, sure, but ignore it.
Yeah.
Weigh yourself every week and go from there. Are you losing weight that week? Yes. Okay, good. But how were your energy levels during the week? Were they okay? Did you have problems with working out in the gym? Did you have problems like staying active at work? Did you have focus problems? Whatever. No? None? Okay, good. Then, depending on if they do strength training, which 9 times out of 10 with my clients they are, because that's what they come for, we add 50 calories. Just go from there, because I want to prevent that moment they start binge eating because they have muscle growth, etc. Therefore, their caloric expenditure increases. So I kind of want to be ahead of the curve when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And then we just work like that, where it's like, okay, next week. Well, let's say we started out at 23, then 23.50. I'm still losing weight. Good.
Yeah.
Again, 50 again. And then we build up to that point where the body weight stagnates. And then we go from there.
Yeah.
And then we just body recomposition it. Because yes, you can build muscle and lose fat at the same time. I am so done with that myth. I am so done with it.
Hey guys, if you're watching on TikTok, head on over to YouTube. This will make more sense. I'm actually talking to somebody here.
Like, are people on TikTok actually coming here? Do you see the viewers go down, or?
I see the numbers fluctuating on YouTube. This is, I mean, this is my first like real live stream, right? Like planned out live stream.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for inviting me to your first.
Yeah, you broke you popped my cherry on that.
I promise I'll be gentle.
Actually, I think I did one with Rob in December, but it was more like to test so I can learn StreamYard, and he was telling me about how to do the stuff, and then we were just shooting the crap. And then I did another one with what's his name? Red Pill Viking. I don't know if you know him.
Thor.
No, not Thor. There's another guy. He goes by Viking Dad Wisdom. He changes his name periodically on. Yeah.
Yes.
So we did one. That was just a test one, and then I did a Rule Zero. My first Rule Zero, they had me host it, which I was like, thrown under the bus with that. But it worked out pretty good. But so this is my first real one where I'm like, I'm planning on doing these every Wednesday and Friday. And so, yeah, I'm just getting used to this whole thing and having people pop in and out and trying to get people to comment in the chats there. People have sort of stagnated there, but whatever. I'm a noob. People don't come here for this sort of thing typically. Well, we only have 10 minutes left, so let's maybe try to make this quick. One thing that I suck at, Jack, and I realized that I absolutely suck at this, is when I decide, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to put on muscle. I need to eat more and lift heavy, and then I end up just getting fatter because like I end up eating way too much. Now I've heard that what you should be doing to gain weight in a good way is to just add, basically, like you said, drop. When you want to lose weight, you want to drop about 500 calories. Like gain weight, you essentially want to,
not 500. Take it in steps of 50.
50. Okay. So when you want to put on muscle mass, you essentially want to still eat clean, like how you were with your diet, but you just want to add basically the same thing in reverse, right? Add steps of 50. Is that what you would recommend, or do you recommend something different?
To gain muscle?
Yeah.
Well,
Without getting fat. I mean, you're going to put on a little bit of fat, but
well, it doesn't have to be per se.
Okay.
That's quite easy as well. You don't have to dirty bulk. You don't have to clean cut, things like that. But you need to take the time. You just need to take the time. So the minimum requirement for supporting hypertrophy, so supporting muscle growth, for protein is 1.6 times your body weight in kilos.
Okay.
In kilos. That is the minimum amount of protein you need to consume to stimulate muscle growth. Now, you don't just use calories for muscle growth, you also use it for organs, your brain, functionality, etc. Now, as long as you get those things in order, and some people would say do 1.8 times your body weight in kilogram, because that way you are always sure you at least get the minimum. I'm a proponent of that as well. Some people have a bit of a hard time getting the protein in, so it's like, dude, just get the 1.6 in and don't worry too much about that. Now, as long as you have that 1.6, etc., then you look at the overall calories. So the focus is protein on that. Get that minimum in, and you will have enough to support muscle growth. Now, if you want to prevent yourself from getting too fat, like we just mentioned before, put MyFitnessPal on that, like that caloric goal.
Yeah.
And go from there. Just go from there. Like, is your strength in the gym holding up? How are you looking in the mirror? Now, of course, after a week, not even 4 weeks, do you really see progress in that, in all honesty. But as long as you can keep up your strength in the gym, etc., just slowly reduce it by 50 per week. Now, it's a bit of a long process, but I just want to be ahead of the curve when it comes to energy loss, plateaus, etc. So that way you can still build muscle because of the sufficient protein you're getting in, but lose body fat as well because of the caloric deficit you're having, which makes your body use your body fat for energy.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. I'm still going to.
It does, doesn't it? That
one thing I told I told my girlfriend, nurse chick, because getting ready for Tough Mudder this year, I had put on quite a bit of weight, and so I had a lot to lose to get ready for that. One thing that I told her was, I was like, every 2 years, I've figured it out now. This is my pattern. Every 2 years, I get this idea that I'm going to bulk, and then I end up just getting fat. And so I said, when coming to the end of 2023, when I start talking that nonsense, I was like, just slap the shit out of my hands, just.
They're a bit of, how do I phrase that? What's the word I'm looking for? They're outdated methods. They really are outdated methods, which come from bro science. Like, you need to dirty bulk to gain muscle. No, you don't.
Or is it 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight type? Is that legit, or is that old bro science?
Well, it's certainly not too little, but there is reduced added value in that. There is reduced added value.
Got it. Okay.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing. At least you know you're hitting your target, but it's not the minimum.
Yeah.
The minimum is 1.6 times your body weight in kilos.
Got it. Okay. We're almost at an hour here. There's still 2 more to go, so we'll just quickly go through these. So save more money is the 4th one, right? And one thing I will
have
say
a
about
link for that. I have a link for that. Hold up.
Oh, okay.
Are you?
Oh, is
are you-
that? Oh, I'm a Clary guy too. You can post. I'll let you post yours.
Yeah, can I post Clary's course in the chat?
He just
Here
opened
you
it
go.
up. Yeah, he just opened it up again.
Mhm.
One thing I will say about that, yeah, take Aaron Clary's course on minimalism. That'll help you save money. But one thing that really helped me understand money better, get better with money, was I read Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. And then he gives you, his 8 baby steps to wealth, which is really sort of like, it's a method that anybody could take to get to build wealth. It's a long way of doing it. There's faster ways of getting rich, obviously, but this is one that literally anyone can do. And one of the things that I realized with his book was that I opened up my garage door one day and it was just full of clutter and crap. And I was like, you know what? All of this used to be money at one point. And I don't use half this crap that's in my garage. So what I ended up doing because of that, maybe become more aware of it, is that anytime I go to buy something now, I look at it like, do I really need this? Do I really need this? Am I going to use it? If I buy this, am I even going to use it? And usually if the answer is, dude, no, you're going to be excited about that for like a week or 2. And then you're going to put it on the shelf somewhere. I don't buy it. And that's helped me so much. And then, basically, following his 8 baby steps, doing the snowball method of getting out of debt.
Dave Ramsey,
Yeah. So doing a snowball method of getting out of debt, setting aside like emergency funds and stuff like that, like having that emergency fund really makes it so that it's almost like it's almost psychological. Like, that you have this money here in case of an emergency. You don't need to use your credit card as much. It all works out really well. I highly recommend that book. It's life-changing. And then the last one was spend more time with friends and family. And one thing there I would say is you need to make that a goal as well. If that's what your overall goal is, you need to actually break that down into something that's actionable.
Can I rephrase that?
What?
Spend more time with people who want to spend time with you.
Yeah, okay.
Don't just hang out with people just because they're family,
Yeah, I think that's smart, because there's toxic family members, but either way, like friends that want to spend time with you, I would say you need to break that down into an actionable goal too, right? Like, okay, I'm going to try to be home for dinner every night by 7, or at least 4 days a week by 7. Like, you need to set some kind of actionable goal that you can measure against. Otherwise, just saying arbitrarily, I'm going to spend more time with friends and family. What does that even mean?
But can I ask you something?
Sure.
Do you need motivation to spend time with the people you like?
Sometimes.
Really?
Sometimes, man. Like, I don't know. So I was a member of a local runners group, and next week's episode sort of talks about why I don't go to that anymore. But yeah, I mean, like every Wednesday, I had it on my calendar, so I made it a habit of going. But,
no, but I mean actual people you like, not necessarily a club or whatever. Your actual diehard friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, because to me, it's just easier to sit on the couch and surf Twitter and watch TV. So yeah, actually, making the time to talk to people I like, it actually does take some effort.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit of an introvert that way. I was raised that way, so yeah.
Okay.
That's just me though.
No, I don't have that at all. Like there are 2 guys who I would catch a bullet for, and I've had it before where they texted me, I just dropped everything. I was like, and there wasn't even
ride or die. Yeah.
Well, there wasn't even anything serious. Like, hey, want to go for coffee? Sure. Boom.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Well, and
This could
also,
stay.
so you're also a single guy too, and
Yes.
you don't really have any attachments. So I do have a good friend that lives like an hour away from me. He's a 3% brother. He actually lives an hour away from me, and when he and I do try to make stuff happen, I'm excited to do stuff with him. But he and I both have kids, so it's like, hey man, can you do something this Thursday? Oh, I can't because our kid's doing blah blah blah. Or he asks me, I'm like, I can't. I got a podcast episode I'm recording, and it's like
real quick, by the way, about the metabolism question that I had like, in all honesty, like how to explain it. I have a bit difficulty with that, but I did find somebody who did explain it properly, and I put that in the chat.
Okay, that's very helpful.
So I do deliver.
Well, with that, let's wrap up here since we're at an hour. Jack, where can people find you online, man?
Well, thank you for asking that. You can find me on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jack Napier Knows. And there it is. I have a link to that. That is here. Also, momentarily, the spots, the availability of the spots for my coaching are at the moment not available. I am full for coaching, but if you want to stay updated on when a new spot is available for coaching, you can get on my email newsletter. I don't spam you, don't worry. I send out 1 email per week. And when you subscribe to the newsletter, you will also get the exercise performance course, where you get instructional videos about squat, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, pull-ups, and dips for free. And the link to my newsletter, which will give you the exercise performance course for free, is now in the chat.
How do people get your Book of Puck? Do they have to be do they have to join your YouTube group?
Yeah, that is a YouTube membership exclusive.
Okay.
You go to my channel, you click the join button, you get access to weekly Q&As. So let's say like coaching, things like that are too expensive, then you can also become a member of the YouTube channel. Weekly Q&As, just post your questions there, and you will get my version of the Book of Puck audiobook for free.
All right. Excellent, Jack.
Plug,
all right. Well, plug, sells. Okay. All right. That's all I have for this episode. Tune in Friday morning. My friend Benny is supposed to join me to talk about online dating principles. So tune into that. Other than that, catch me on my socials, and I will play these end credits. Have a good day, everybody.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.